Well, apparently I can draw the square meander, but can I quilt it? Hey guys, welcome back to Frances Quilts. Well, you know, it's rainy outside, it's cold outside, it's a Saturday morning, so what better day to put on a nice warm sweatshirt and head up to the studio. Today I'm going to be quilting some more on this quilt. If you remember last week we planned all the designs that we were going to put in. This past week I have spent 20 minutes each morning in my studio and was able to finish the quilting on the inside here. Before I did this video I spent a little bit of time just doing some stitch quilting on the borders, and now I'm ready to tackle this outside border. I have an idea for what I want to do. We're going to do a little bit of playing with it first and then see what we can do. Now last week I showed you how to use Procreate on my iPad and how I use that to select my designs and try out different designs. Today we're going to go a little more old school and use a whiteboard and a dry erase marker. Now let me tell you what I'm thinking. Since I had used so many straight lines in here, I really want to keep straight lines in the border as well. Now the border, as you can see, is a fairly fussy fabric. You're not going to see a lot of the quilting, but I want to try some straight lines. So what I'm thinking about is a square meander. Let's go have a look at it. Now a square meander looks something like this. It's going to have a square, it's all going to be straight lines, it's going to have a square that at some point is going to cross one of the lines that you started with. And I used to have a real hard time with this until I read somewhere that you do, so you have 1, 2, 3 lines, and then the fourth line crosses the first line that you did. If I keep doing that, it seems to work very well to keep the design moving around. The hardest thing is getting stuck in a corner somewhere. So let's try a little bit more. If I come down here a little bit further and I come across here, oh, that one's going okay. I have to make maybe a little one there, come across here, over. Now what if I want to get that direction, but I'm headed this way? What I can do is just come in here and then back up that way. So I honestly have to think about it while I'm doing it. Oops. But I think it will work well. Again, it's not going to show a whole lot, so I think this is going to be a great place for me to practice my straight lines and my square meanders. Okay, for full disclosure here, I did practice this a little bit on another section of the border and I think it's going to look really good. Again, you're not going to see a whole lot of it, but I'm okay with that. I really just want to have the texture in there in the straight lines. So I'm starting here on my edge. I am using a ruler. I can do some straight lines without the ruler, but I have to concentrate a whole lot more. And for this design, I really need to be concentrating on where I'm going to keep those squares and not work myself into a corner. So I would rather concentrate on that and just use the ruler. Yes, it may be a little bit slower, but for me it's better. So I'm going to start and I'm just going to do some line along here that is perpendicular to the side here. Come across. Now I'm going to be coming this direction. I'm going to be coming this direction as I quilt. But I think the easiest thing, instead of coming forward and then having to go back like that, is to always go backwards and then be working my way forwards. So I have come to a point here. I'm going to make sure I keep a square corner there. I don't want to have a little curve in there. I want to keep it square. I'm going to just place my ruler down and come up a little bit further and then over. Everything is not going to be completely parallel, but that's all right. You notice I did not come to the full edge there. I'm going to come down, and at some point in here I'm going to just zip across and I'm going to cross this line that I just did. Come out farther. Let's do another one. Cross, back. You see, it's fairly quickly. Even with having to move the ruler around, it's still a fairly quick process. Let's keep going. So this time I need to get back over here to fill in this area. So instead of having this line come all the way down and cross that one that I just quilted, I'm going to do another little jiggy poo in here. That's a technical term, by the way, jiggy poo, and come back across. With each one of these squares, I'm stopping to think where I want to end up next. So I'm on this side, I want to end up over here because there's some area in here that needs to be quilted. So I'm always making that last line head to whatever direction I want it to go. Well, like I said, the quilting does not show up much, but I really do like the texture that it's getting. And turning that corner was so easy to do because I just had to keep making those boxes. I didn't have to worry about anything matching or anything like that. I just had to keep making boxes and quilting and quilting and quilting. All right, I'm going to leave it there for today, and this next week in my 20-minute creative time each morning, I'm going to finish quilting this border. If you want to check out how it looks in the end, please be on the lookout on my blog, which is at francesquilts.com/blog. I'd love to have you there every day. I post something creative or quilting or just something that might be of interest to you. Also, did you see how easy it was to make all of those squares and to quilt that border using a straight edge ruler? I'll remind you once again that I have a course, Keeping It Straight, 8 Ways to Use a Straight Edge Ruler. Be sure and check it out because it's a great course to get you started with ruler quilting and to get started with that straight edge ruler. Well guys, I had so much fun quilting with you today. As always, thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time on Frances Quilts. Remember, if you like what you've seen, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please check out my website and daily blog at francesquilts.com, and I can be found on Facebook and Instagram at Frances Quilts. Thanks so much for joining me. Hope to see you again soon.